Morgan, you're live with Emily on Sweet Tea. Hi.
Hi.
There's no other guest I would rather have to kick off my 2024 Sweet Tea series. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Well, there's nobody else I'd rather talk to. You're one of my favorite people, so
Same, same. Major girl crush. I always tell everybody there is a reason you are so popular and everyone adores you. You are so
Oh,
likable and so kind.
oh.
Before we get into the, spilling the tea, hopefully some good stuff will come out and I can pull some what's going on in the market type of stuff from you.
Okay.
What can I get you to drink?
Well, right now, I'm representing my school, the U, and drinking water for now. But
Okay.
later, we're
Yeah.
gonna need some champagne because we have some things to toast to pretty soon. So,
Oh, good. You have to tell us about that.
okay.
Toast and bubbly for you. I know you have a lot of exciting things going on. But for those that this is the first time they're meeting Morgan, I always make all of my guests give their own introduction. So Morgan, tell everybody about you, who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Morgan Williams. I'm the CEO of Blended Studios, a company that is revolutionizing CDL driver hiring and soon more. And I am, well, actually, I don't think I could say I'm new anymore. I was new to Utah. I was new to trucking. I was new to tech, and now I'm running it. So I guess I'm
Well,
not
and this is why I gravitated towards you. I was like, okay, trucking industry, like there's other industries that are somewhat notorious for being outdated, right? Just really good, steady, awesome job, but been doing things the way that they've done them for a really long time. Um,
Mhm.
Recruiting, totally my jam. And then you just throw on the technology element, and it's like, bam, I was instantly attracted to you once I heard this. So tell us more about Blended. Go into the details on it.
Yeah, so a little bit more. So we're innovative, essentially applicant tracking system. And so what we know is that hiring not just a person, but the right person is any company's greatest asset, but especially for trucking. If you don't have the right driver, your trucks don't move. And if your trucks aren't moving, you're not making money. So you're not in business. So we are really helping to make sure that trucking carriers far and wide, especially our small to mid-sized carriers, have the technology they need to do recruitment well and efficiently to, again, make sure that right person is in seat. Um, and we are, what can I say? I mean, we are on the cusp of really bringing AI technology into an industry that is still we meet a lot of people still using Excel, even faxing documents, but we're helping them to make that leap into the technological future with our AI tools. We know that getting the right candidate means that you have to do it quickly. So we're through our automation tools, we're allowing that to happen, and then also making sure you have the right person means that you have to be able to prioritize who is the right person. So we're also thinking differently about how do we leverage and use systems, technology in particular, to help do that. Not to replace a recruiter, you can never replace that human element, but to
You guys
really
hear
help.
that? Did everyone hear that? Just teasing. It's
No,
just job security, Morgan. I had to make sure I plugged it.
well, let me say it again. But truly, when you think about recruitment, there's so many human elements, and relationship is so important. But also in recruitment, there's a lot of administrative tasks which are not uniquely human, and we're trying to do that better and faster so that recruiters can get to what they're uniquely qualified to do. Um, and get on the phone, build those relationships with candidates, and make sure that they're the right match for the company. So yeah.
Well, and I would imagine it's pretty competitive. There's probably more employers that are looking for truck drivers versus truck drivers. Is that true? How's the supply and demand on this?
Well, man, when I say the past few months have just been one of a lot of volatility and shifts in the market, it has been a lot of volatility and a lot of shifts in the market. When we first started this back in late 2022, 2023, early 2023, what you said was so true. You saw employers just grabbing for any employee that they could. And now there's actually a lot of constriction in the markets in the trucking industry. There's some very famous stories when you think about Yellow, how Yellow transportation went out of business. You're seeing more of that, especially with some of the smaller carriers. So actually, when it comes to employment, you see more drivers actually flooding the market in order to get employed. So now more than ever, it is essential that you get the right person, and employers are able to actually really think more about that. It's not just a person, but the right person. In addition to, when you look at trucking, it's an interesting trend of who makes up majority of employment right now, and it is folks that are in the next 5 to 10 years. Majority of them will be eligible for retirement, and so there's also this hunger and need to bring in a new generation into this particular workforce. And so that's where I really see a lot of opportunity, and where we're really trying to push into how do we get a new generation engaged in the workforce while also supporting the current generation that's in the
Yeah.
workforce as well.
I there is something so wrong with our education system. Probably in
Mm,
this case that someone can go to school for, 12 years. Let's just say, high school graduation, and now they're going to look at certifications or trade school, and like for them to have no idea the really details of all of their options, so they're making a good decision. But that doesn't stop just at the 12-year mark, right? When you're a senior in high school, it happens all the time in the university
yeah.
setting. I will talk to people that just got their bachelor's, sometimes their master's, and they have no idea what they want to do. And I'm like, all of those hours, why are we not introducing trades and industries and having professionals come and share details and see if there's alignment so that they can
And,
be passionate
and
about it?
Emily, so that's close to my heart. So before I got into trucking, I was actually in education. I spent 12 years, everything from elementary to high school, even higher ed education, really trying to innovate that particular system. And my experience, it was, go to college. Here's all the different pathways that college in particular can explore. And then getting into trucking, it opened up a whole new world for me around how impactful trades could be, like being a CDL driver. There's so much tangible experience that you get in tangible ways where you could impact the country, impact society just by the work that you do. And this is that, now you're getting me excited, but this is a part of what's really energized me, just to understand and see that there's so many pathways for students out there. And to your point, we have to get deeper into exposing them. And what I will say and give the trucking industry credit for is early career identification, even early career hiring. This is something they're really starting to dig into as they think about how do we get the next generation on board. And so I love seeing not just my world open, but the world of kids everywhere understand just how valuable this industry is and how valuable their experience in this industry could be.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like every industry, I shouldn't say every, I feel like there are a lot of industries that are having this conversation, right? People not knowing it exists, not understanding the full scope of what it can help, whether it's just to get to another step in your career, whether it could lead into corporate ownership, owning the truck. There's
Yeah.
so many complex layers that can grow with the dynamic of a person's life and needs. The more education, the more that you can introduce that earlier, the better. Please, education, help. Let the Emilys and Morgans come to the schools. We can bring subject matter experts and have Q&A and like speed datings with industries. There's a lot of things that I think we could
I
do
love
there.
that ask. And especially so I am not of the world of trucking. I discovered it and I love it. It is big, it is bold, it is complex, and I'm a woman in it, which you
Right.
don't necessarily often associate women in trucking. But beyond just me, I have a team. And so one of my teammates, Lindsay England, I mean, her legacy and lifeblood is in trucking. And so to have at the table one person this has been her life, then another who just discovered it a few years ago. But we both have an aligned passion for what just the opportunities could be for women and beyond. Yeah, bring us in. We love to talk about it. We can talk
I
about
love
this.
I love it. I was going to say the England name, especially here in Utah, it's very well known, and I love that we've got two women powerhouses out there. And I know Morgan. I mean, I would have never have guessed. I think I met you just I think after you came to Utah, but yeah, who would have ever thought you were in the trucking industry? You have
I
a
know.
fascinating story, right?
Yeah.
So you have a fascinating story. Tell us a little bit about that, your background.
Well, this is a bittersweet story. So the bitter, my twin brother Cameron Williams, he started a trucking logistics automation company called Everwoke in 2018. Unfortunately, he passed away unexpectedly from complications with a brain tumor in 2021. When he passed, I actually ended up inheriting his trucking logistics automation company. Beyond just the inheritance, I decided to actually step into the role, or I was voted in to step into the role as CEO. So now I was both owner and CEO of a trucking logistics automation company with no experience in any of those things that I just said. So it was truly a deep dive into really understanding what I was capable of in terms of my leadership, as well as really trying to figure out how I could honor my brother's legacy. Ultimately, I did do the. Oh, I should mention one more thing. That decision, which I didn't know till years later, actually made me the first Black woman owner and operator of a trucking logistics automation company in the state of Utah. Who knew?
I, it's got to be more than the state of Utah that you qualify for that amazing honor.
Probably, but at least according to the
Okay,
article that
freaking phenomenal, freaking phenomenal.
Thank you. But what also happened is as I deep dived into the industry, I fell in love. I fell in love with the complexity of the problems that they were facing. And I knew that there were solutions beyond just what my brother created to really help drive the industry forward. Ultimately, I did decide to dissolve the version of my brother's company, and take on my own pursuit via blended, as I just learned about the challenges and issues when it came to driver hiring. At that moment, it was about driver shortages. It was very much about we just can't find people quickly enough. That's still some of the conversation. It's evolved a little bit as I discussed earlier, but this idea of getting the right people on board, I realize is everything. When I think about how blended has been built, yes, there was me and my sheer will and passion for legacy, and to do something different. But at the same time, we're only here today because we have the right people. We were able to get the right people on board to move it forward, and every company needs that. And you have to do it well. You have to do it fast. You have to personalize it, and you're building relationships. These aren't just transactional conversations. And I was invested in that because it's not just, yes, get the right people on board, but then you get to deep dive into who's missing from these teams. Who else do we need to get to have a seat at the table? And when it comes to bringing and building opportunity and purpose in the world, that is at my core, that is what I want to do. And so, and through my brother's legacy, um, in a lot of ways, I've been able to do that. So, yeah.
Well, and that's I mean, full cycle. I was reading an article about you in Utah business, a year or two ago, and it had the whole backstory about Cameron, your twin, which I feel like everybody in Utah and beyond knew who he was. I feel like I was the only person that freaking didn't get to meet him, and I'm still pissed about
Now,
that. But
to be fair, Emily, I don't think we as our family didn't know how well known Cameron was in
Cameron was
Utah.
like celebrity status. Everybody knew him. I mean, when he passed, billboards, I don't know how, I mean, thousands and thousands of people flocked. I mean, it was like felt, in the heart by the community. But man, you want to talk about just the Phoenix, right? Morgan, bringing you here, rising up, protecting what he was building and enhancing it and making it with new heights and new visions. It's just the coolest story. And, you know, I would never know that you weren't like you didn't grow up in recruiting. Like since I mean,
Mm,
you were education background, but the whole reason why Higher Integrated exists, and I think this is the reason why you and I are attracted to each other professionally and get a lot of energy from each other, is we know that people know themselves better than anybody. And we are the ones that can enable those decisions with information and technology and tools and resources. And when I think of recruiting, the old school way of doing things, it's I got a job, take it, trust me.
yeah.
I like this will be perfect for you. And it was always a sales job. And
Mm,
it shouldn't be that. We should be the person that's busting open the doors, throwing away the keys, letting the information flow out, letting the systems work for themselves so that people that are passionate about what they choose to do, we can enable them to get that position. Because the best employees are ones that want to be there and are engaged. It's not because a recruiter pretended to know that person better than that person knew themselves. And that's streamed in everything that you do there at Blended, which I very much so appreciate.
well, I appreciate that, and that is so intentional. So, as you said, I would never know that you didn't know anything about trucking. The biggest intent behind that is because I didn't come into this saying I know what we should do. I came into this asking questions, really getting on the ground, understanding how could I build with the industry, not for the industry. And I think that is one of the mistakes that some founders make. I have a beautiful glass whiteboard behind me, and we could whiteboard possibilities all day. But if we're not truly sitting and understanding the industry to work with them to build what they need, it doesn't matter. And so we were very, very, very intentional to do that and continue to do that.
Well, I hope before I kind of pick on you about where you're going, and you threw me out a little Easter egg at the beginning that I'm going to pick on in a minute. That has not been missed. Don't worry, I'm coming right back in for that, Morgan. But I hope that the leaders in trucking, like, they see you, they invest in you, they support you. Like, I hope that continues to happen. And there's so many different industries that are dependent upon trucking, that even, I would say, even if you're not directly in trucking, like what you are doing, Morgan, and what Blended is all about, like, a lot of people need to pay attention and find out ways that they can support. So tell us where you're headed. What's in the future?
Yeah, so the future. So there's a few just overall hiring trends, not even specific to trucking, but I'm speaking more so generally when we think about the market. When we think about the emergence of AI and its significance in the role of hiring, I think we're going to see more of that. And we here at Blended, we want to make sure that our industry, the trucking industry and beyond, is ready for that. So we're ready. We're here to help them make the leap, and keep up to date. So what that's going to look like. The other thing we see is there's this new wave and shift and emergence of what trucking has known for years, called skill-based hiring. It's not about it, when it's time to get hired as a driver. You're not submitting cover letters and resumes and all the things. It's a matter of, can you do the job, and do you have the value system that is aligned with our company? And we don't see a lot of platform, when I think about technology, we don't see a lot of platforms that are really able to quickly assess that. But we are quickly being able to do that bigger and better each and every day. We have been asked and tapped by other verticals that rely on skill-based hiring to say, hey, I know you're in trucking, but do you think maybe this could apply in some other areas? And so, we're kind of looking into it. And so when I think about overall a technology that could really support skills-based hiring overall, I see a future where Blended could be leading the way to do that. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, I'm all for introducing you to anybody that you need to be introduced to. The problem with you, Morgan, is you know everybody. So that's pretty much this.
There are never too many connections, and so I will put this plug out there. So as far as the work that we're doing in trucking, we are actively we've launched what we call our Design Partners Initiative, and so we know that trucking companies need something better. And we also have, especially with the leadership of Lindsay England on our team, not only does she understand trucking, she was previously the chief human resources officer at her father's company, Pride Transport. So she gets not just what the industry needs, but what on the ground level recruiters really need to be thinking about. And now she's in the world of tech, so it's not just what was, but what will be. And she is offering a level of consultation to companies to really understand their pain points. And it's not just about, and Blended could work for you. It's more so, let us help you get something that's going to be better. So if you're sitting here listening and you're thinking, I'm a trucking company, our recruitment efforts, they have some pain points. Let us see how we could help you from our platform and beyond. We just want to know, support, and help drive people forward. And then also, law enforcement has been an area that we're dabbling into, and warehouse staffing as well. So if you know folks in those areas, we would love to get introduced and learn a bit more. So yeah.
Well, we're at the 23-minute. I mean, we're coming up on 24, but at the 23-minute mark, we're going to tag some companies. We're going to let them know that Morgan and Lindsay will jump on a call with you, come out and meet with you, like consultation, share some
And Lindsay
stats.
loves bringing donuts.
Oh, good.
So
Donuts, stats, reports, like even if it's just a free tank kind of conversation, right? I did this with Jessica Acosta. She also owns a recruiting kind of talent consulting agency, and we did this. I think it was just December. We combined our calendars, we shared it publicly, and we just offered to consult with talent acquisition leaders and saying, you know what? Jessica grew up in house as a recruiter. I've always been the agency side. Like, let's get your head of talent acquisition and us on the phone or meet, and like no commitments. We're just
no,
solutions down to figure out what's going to come of it. I think it's a great approach.
exactly. And I will also make a plug for recruitment companies as well. So they've been a part of our orbit, to say, hey, we're on the ground recruiting, but we still need technology and systems to accelerate the work that we're doing. So if you're in driver recruiting, warehouse recruiting, law enforcement recruitment, well, I say call. Like
I'll give him your number. I will give people Morgan's number. I'll give
okay,
you her cell phone.
or email us. Yeah.
No, I'll give you Morgan's address, her cell phone. I'll tell you about her family in Chicago, her apartment. Just reach out to me. We all
I
know
love
I
it. I
overshare.
love it. but hit us up because we would love to really get in conversation. And I don't know, and we're agile, so we're newer in the market. We are all about innovation, and we are running rapidly towards it. I love One thing I love about our team is we are identifying and building in the gaps. So, we're are we a traditional ATS? I would say no. There's nothing really that traditional about me, not really. But also, because we're truly identifying what are the pains, what are the gaps, and how can we best fill them for you. This is an industry I want to see move forward. This is an industry that our team has such great commitment and legacy to. And so I think that the innovation plus really caring about something, it just festers something really great. So yeah.
Well, I am here for it, Morgan. I'm here for it. I will continue to support and
Thank you.
preach and tell everybody I know about what you're doing. It's phenomenal. I hate that I missed the last kind of trucking industry roundtable event. So your next one, I'm there. I'll bring
Okay.
friends.
I love
In
it.
this in the spirit of finishing off strong, I always like to do a lightning round,
Okay.
and these are just shooting really quick at the hip and seeing what's going on in the world. So we get to know Morgan outside of blended, or probably in addition to blended is a better way of saying it. So I'm looking out the window. It's snowing. I'm wondering what's your favorite season. I just got the random season vibe.
Definitely spring. I love renewal, and I feel like spring is just a time of renewal.
What book are you reading right now?
I'm rereading Good to Great.
Oh,
Mhm,
good one. Good one.
mhm.
I'm not a big reader, but that has made the list. What is your favorite word?
Delicious.
Delicious.
Delicious. I love that word.
I love you saying that word delicious.
Delicious. I love that.
Oh my
That's great.
goodness. I got to get your fiance on this for this conversation. Let's
Well,
talk.
actually, he hates when I say delicious, and
What?
I love it. So
Morgan, you say it with such confidence. We got it. I got to talk to him. So are you going to write a book? Is a book in store? Have I heard that rumor for you before?
Oh no! Oh my god! So I am thinking about writing a book, and it will be titled "The Gift of Grief." Um, losing my brother has come with tremendous grief, but through the darkness and pain, it has been a gift of light, and strength and love that when things happen in life, you get to decide how you're going to show up, and grief has been a gift of a new life for me. So
Oh, um, you know, the we were supposed to talk in November and we didn't because I was back in Tennessee and lost my father. Um, I saw a quote and I posted it on my Instagram, but it was so meaningful to me. It was basically saying, um, the cost of grief is the ability to love. Like, saying kind of that. And I've never, like, I would have never thought twice about really what that quote meant, but it's so true. If I want to continue to love and exercise love and feel love and the joy that comes with love, part of that price that you pay is experiencing grief. And it's just horrible, but it counterbalances the universe. Um, okay. Who's your favorite person right now?
other than
Besides
you,
of course. Yes, of course.
well, I just got engaged, so my fiance is one of my favorite people.
You guys are the cutest couple, Morgan. I'm telling you, I live for your posts and your cute little night
Oh,
out pictures as I'm like trying to go to bed by 8 or 9, and you guys are like in New York at the most happening spots, and sweet or salty.
definitely salty. I
Okay.
don't do. There's nothing sweet about me. So,
And my last question before we wrap this up: what is your go-to karaoke song?
oh, I will always love you by Whitney Houston.
Oh, good one. Good
Yeah.
one. It depends on who I'm with, but mine's either Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks because I
Okay.
dedicate it to them. But man, I can't wait to do me some Boot Scoot Boogie by Brooks and
Ooh. Okay, Emily. Instead of lunch, we need to go karaoke.
Dunn. It is the day. Morgan, thank you so much for your time. Our next live broadcast together will be in some dive karaoke bar. So more to come
Love
on
it.
that. And I'm so glad you spent time with me. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Emily. Truly great
Absolutely.
conversation.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks.
And that